This meeting of the ISD Board of Education is called to order. Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you tonight. The first item of business is to approve the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second. Is this a roll call? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, the first item that we have is a request of a district citizen to speak. Board Policy C-140P addresses comments to the public in the Board of Education meeting and states that a total of 30 minutes are allocated for public comment. Each individual or set of parents are allocated 5 minutes to make remarks. We ask that individuals give their names and home address prior to their statement. Comments or questions are not to be addressed by individuals on the dais. If you would like to address the Board of Education regarding a student matter, personnel matter, or potential legal matter, the issues can only be heard in closed session. Comments are only to be made related directly to an agenda item. The first person that we have,
We also have a few furniture costs, purchases at Fairmount and Proctor, as well as final payments for the Bingham weight room. We also have approval to let bids for partial roof replacement at Mill Creek Elementary School. The center of the roof was replaced in 1999 and the warranty was up in 2019. The roof failed a moisture test after multiple leaks throughout the area. And then approval to let bids for masonry tuck pointing at Fairmount Elementary School and Three Trails Elementary School. This is due to deteriorated brick where they are getting water coming through. The whole building at Fairmount needs this done in all but the gym area at Three Trails. It's better to have this done prior to putting windows and replacement, so that's why we are bringing that to all of you.
any discussion?
Yeah, Dr. Grant, I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about, we have a possible bond issue that we're looking at in April for Fairmount. Are we going to be duplicating costs here, or are we cognizant of the possibility of other construction soon?
Yes, we are being very cognizant of that, and I know that, where is Mr. McGee? There he is, right there, that this approval would probably be done right around the same time we're leading up to, correct?
Yeah, our goal is to package these together to see if we get a better number, and then we'll decide whether or not it goes part of the bond or not.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Oh,
idea.
don't go away. Assuming this is yours. I Googled it, but can you explain what masonry tuck pointing is?
So all of the brick, the little white lines around it, the little concrete, if there's holes in it, water gets through there and seeps down into the buildings. And so if you haven't been by Truman lately, we've had masonry out there fixing the front of Truman because we've had that classroom has leaked. And so they were just sanding it and putting new concrete in between the bricks to seal it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. Up next, we have the superintendent report. Dr. Grant.
All right, thank you very much. Is that better? Makes me better. All right, thank you. This week, we had our second Monday of Learning League at the elementary level. Learning League is an invite-only academic support for targeted instruction in literacy and math. This fall, we had 627 students who were invited to participate in Learning League based upon the results from last spring's benchmark testing. Of those invited, 180 families accepted the opportunity to join. During the first 2 weeks of Learning League, attendance rates averaged from 60% to 57% respectively. A second round of invitations will be extended during second semester using our fall benchmark data to identify additional students who may benefit from the program. And I do want to say that it's important to note that families who have requested their children participate in Learning League, we've tried to honor those requests and able to do that. And busing is provided for this. And I do want to make mention that we added busing as an option last year as well for middle school and high school students. That was feedback from families that they requested. So we did make that adjustment, and that is at the beginning of the day and the end of the day. As you may recall, AMI was a new option this year. We hit our 6th snow day, we submitted our AMI plan and received our approval notice on August 20th. We're in the process of developing handouts that teachers will be able to distribute to families during fall parent-teacher conferences with an explanation of what that day is going to look like. It is absolutely hard to believe that we are at the end of first quarter. This day, it's flying by. And finally, last week at Kansas City RPDC, our Regional Professional Development Center, Desi was there to present at our ELA monthly meeting, and ISD received a special shout out from Desi for the work that we have done in literacy and our growth results from our students in K through 5. Our teachers have done phenomenal work in relation to that, as well as the PD they have chosen to participate in. We have over 163 educators who've completed our letters training. So that is just huge kudos to our staff who put the work in, the time into working with our kids. And no other district was recognized. It was kind of a surprise. So it was great things for the growth that we are seeing with our students. So that's it for what I have.
You had mentioned 180 students took advantage of Learning Link. About how many invitations were sent out that first time?
627. We will keep asking. I know that up towards the end of last year, we were almost up to thousands of kiddos that we had invited. Mr. Latham, do you recall the number that we'd invited at the end of last year?
It was over 1,000.
Yeah, over 1,000.
Do we have feedback of why parents and families aren't taking advantage? Just want to keep the Mondays open, or?
Mr. Latham, have you heard
know.
feedback based upon the invitations? He loves it when he comes.
I know.
So, during the enrollment process, we asked families if they would be interested in participating in Learning League. And so the first kind of criteria is, do they qualify? And then the next level is, are they interested per their registration? And then we send out invitations. And like she said, 180 had responded yes. I would say probably 400 didn't respond at all. I think it was about 5 that responded no. So the no responses, it's hard to get or the people that don't respond, it's hard to get feedback from them if they're not participating in that survey. So I don't know if that's a good answer for you, but that's kind of
So if someone realized that they missed that invitation, could they still sign up? Is that still
Yes.
available
Yeah,
at
we've
any
honored
time?
every-
So anybody?
yeah, we've honored every request to say, I want my child to attend. Okay, can you get them there? And we'll set up busing that
Okay.
following week.
Is that something that's covered during parent-teacher conferences? Could they be like, hey, your child might qualify for this?
Yes, that's
Get
part of
it?
the talking points.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank you.
great question.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what ways are we, thank you, because I'm sure we want more families involved. How are we just going after more enrollment? So,
And did you say that you've honored and other requests that just came?
Yes, if the family is reaching out, and that's, Mr. Latham had just mentioned that as well,
Right.
but yes, great question.
Can you tell us a little bit about the letters training that you mentioned?
Yes, based in the science of reading. This is a program that DESE fully supports, and actually I will say we were one of the districts, if you, in our initial literacy plan from the state of Missouri, we participated in the science of reading training, and DESE has provided scholarships because it is so intensive and costly for staff members to participate, and it's a 2-year process, and so there's volume 1 and volume 2. And so going in, just making sure staff are well aware of it, and they are just truly committed to that. Now, there aren't as many scholarships available this go around with funding, however, but our staff do a great job. And it is extended into middle school. So we have middle school teachers who are doing the same thing.
Dr. Grant, can you talk a little bit about the Hispanic event that was held?
Superintendent roundtables. I have continued those last week. I held, along with my leadership team, our Hispanic event for our Spanish-speaking families, had our interpreters there, and truly just focused on, what's going well for you, and where can we grow, and what can be better. And they shared that they appreciate the communication. They love our counselors and what our counselors do for our staff. They appreciate our FSLs who work closely with them. I think Tony Cadillo was a big shout out to him and everything he does for our families. And they appreciate Parent Square. Now some still appreciate Seesaw as well. They appreciate that. They appreciate the direct communication that they are receiving. They want more information on our college and career readiness, so that tells me that we can do a better job of pushing that information, because we have a ton of great information on our academies, as well as other pathways in each academies so our families truly understand our college and career readiness. But those are just some of the highlights, and so just to give them an opportunity to be heard was great. And then, and then we also had another one yesterday for all of our staff. A representative from each building came to a superintendent's roundtable, and we had the same discussion. We're working with Ms. Smith and getting all of that information tabulated.
I really appreciate the effort that's being made to push information out to groups that may or may not be able to get the information. I wonder sometimes with things like Learning League, if there's just groups that are not getting that information. I really appreciate that extra effort of thinking outside the box. How can we make sure that everyone is included? And I really appreciate that. I hope we will continue to look for ways that we can identify groups and how is the best way to communicate with them.
And I would particularly love to be instrumental in those efforts. I think everyone learns differently, everyone receives information differently, and to feel elevated to a place to where the superintendent would come to you or your community or meet with you or have a particular interest in your lived experience and how things work for you. I think that is absolutely wonderful, and I too would love to see that grow. And honestly, shameless plug, I would love to be involved. I would love to help however I can to be in that space, because I think what our community is seeking and in need of is more at your doorstep. How can I serve you? How can we serve you better? And I feel that that has been a uptick and an uplift. So kudos to you and your efforts there to that. So absolutely.
Can I skip back to the Learning League?
I'm sure Mr. Latham would love that.
It may not require you to get back up here. I just want to make sure, can they stay all day, even if,
For Learning League?
as far as
Yes.
transportation goes, they can stay from morning to, okay.
Yes, and we serve lunch, we have breakfast, yes.
Okay. But, if they want to do the clubs and things, that's where.
So at
transportation-
elementary, we don't have clubs that are offered there. It is solely Learning League, because our first year of doing that, we just didn't have the participation. So we don't have that at the elementary level, but middle school and high school, yes,
Okay.
correct.
I think Director Pruente brings up an excellent point that some of our parents who are struggling with that fifth day, this is an option that would get them transportation there, a meal, and also support their educational needs. So,
Which really begs the question for me, do we feel like people really understand what Learning League is? And I mean that passionately. Do we feel like they really, is Learning League so intimidating, oh my gosh, what is that? Or is it very easy to get grip quickly?
I would say it's easy to grip quickly, but then again, we deal with it all the time in education, right? So that is why we are including it in information for parent-teacher conferences.
Okay, under new business, the first item is the CSEP update, human resource presentation. I'll entertain a motion. Well, do we need a motion for presentation? We just allow that to happen? Okay, we're just gonna have a CSEP presentation. Dr. Grant.
All right. As a part of MSIP 6, this is an expectation that we share updates throughout the year with the Board of Education regarding our comprehensive school improvement plan. So this evening, Dr. Robinson is here to give an update regarding human resources, high-quality staff, as well as how it connects to professional development in supporting high-quality staff. So thank you, Dr. Robinson, for being here.
All right, thank you. Good evening, school board. So addressing this is our CSIP goal 3.1, addressing recruitment of high-quality staff. Recruiting season is off and running. We've been to multiple places this season already, have met with numerous teachers, candidates, are setting up interviews. Recruiting teams consist of generally myself and an administrator, assistant principal or principal. On the larger recruiting career fairs that we go to, I bring teachers now. I started that last year because it's good for them to hear peer-to-peer or someone who's doing it. And some of the teachers I've brought have been exceptional, great recruiters. So they add a little money for that. That'd be great to keep bringing them. Also, during the summer, we thought we were not having a lot of candidates accept our offers. So we wanted to dig into it and see what the data said. So we interviewed 228 candidates, offered 168, and had 34 decline. So a little over 20% declined. And we also sent a survey out because we wanted to see if those people who declined, why did you decline? How can we get better as a district? What can we improve? We didn't have a greater response, but some of the feedback that we got from them once you returned it were positive. They liked the experience. It came down to sometimes it was location for them, and that location could have meant that it was further away from their home or the district that offered them. One person said, I love it, but I student taught in this district. So I chose that district where I was student teaching. Others said that they found it favorable. They were interested in the 4-day week. Decent information, but we'll continue to send that out each summer at the end of the season to see if we can get more and more feedback for that information. Now, in regards to our current openings, right now it shows 12, but we currently have 11 openings. We filled our IA position. Of those openings, 9 of those we had 9 new SPED openings, so 6 of those openings were new positions. We had 3 middle school math positions that were new additions. 1 was carried over from the previous year, and then our ELL position was new. So filling a lot of new positions, we continue to work to do that. As far as our classified recruiting, we continue to advertise for classified positions. We held a career fair for those positions to fill for all of our classified departments, working with PR, doing strategic and targeted advertising, trying to fill positions, and they conduct interviews weekly and trying to fill roles and helping to fill those positions. As far as our professional development, PD is critical to retaining highly quality staff and recruiting. I always get those questions on Career Force, so what's your PD like? What do those days look like? And it comes across in staff surveys. In every district that I've been in, it's important to provide high quality PD. So our educators said they valued these engaging sessions that we've had. They liked some of the World Cafe discussions, the training on capturing kids' hearts, trauma-informed care, and inclusivity. Cross-district sessions are always praised for fostering consistency and sharing curriculum. Staff feedback, some more staff feedback is they appreciated the positive tone of PD this year and the useful strategies. And they would appreciate more time for building level learning and planning. Most of the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. Most respondents strongly, I'm transitioning to New Teacher Academy. With New Teacher Academy, it was overwhelmingly positive. They appreciated the respectful tone and the informative environment, and it set high expectations, and they appreciated the valuable resources that they received. And we'll send out a 90-day survey to all of our new staff here in November to continually to get feedback and data on how we get better, what worked, what do we need to improve. And then it also helped in that New Teacher Academy just to introduce our staff to all the things that we do with cultural proficiency, district initiatives, Leader in Me, AVID, and our academies. And then you see just our highlights, which Dr. Grant already talked about, was letters, but we also had Aspire literacy training and administrators engaged in the Speed of Trust, led by Dr. Grant. And then in October, we will have half-day PD and half-day teacher workday and mid-year leadership retreat.
Dr. Robinson, could you talk a little bit, and you may have said this about the medals position. Did you already
I
touch
did not
base on
mention
that?
the medals position. So the medals position, industrial tech is just hard to fill. We were fortunate to have a staff member willing to work on getting that cert, so they moved over to that position so that we could still provide those courses and classes to our students And then we hired someone else to fill that staff member's previous role. So we're still able to provide that level of class and expertise to our students. And we'll continue to look for someone to fill that role.
And wasn't it at your latest job fair for certificated staff where you came across how many middle school math teachers?
Yeah, it's like 5 middle school, well, 5 math people in general, and 3 chemistry.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
what was
great.
going on, but,
Yeah.
you know,
So that was
everybody
really
happy
exciting.
that day. So
So-
we have some interviews set up with those math teachers. So one's visiting here hopefully next week.
Yeah, that's great. And I will say, during the superintendent's roundtable yesterday with our teachers from each of the buildings, they do truly appreciate the structure of the professional development days, where we have half of the day potentially is professional development, other half is work time for them. They appreciate that structure. It's one of the things we said.
That
They-
was
they said-
a
they said.
change for this year, right?
Correct.
And that was because of
Yes.
feedback from.
Yep.
I had a question. You referenced several times surveys and how you plan in November to issue another one. I really appreciate feedback, and I think it's very valuable. The most important thing is obviously participation. And so, Dr. Robinson, can you just speak to how do you feel the response rate is for the surveys that you conduct? Do we have a responsive group that we can count on getting good information from?
Yeah, on the 90-day surveys, that we generally get really good feedback from those. Exit surveys, we get good feedback now. I don't get a lot of in-person sit-downs that I'd like to do. But we're well over 50%, well over that when our response is to our 90-day survey and exit survey when people are leaving.
And are these not particular surveys, to my question, but surveys in general? Are most of them anonymous?
Some are. I would say on the 90-day, I ask them, they are anonymous, and I ask them if they have a particular concern, because this came up in previous feedback and from our work that we did on developing our CSIP plan, is giving them an opportunity, if you would like to talk to me so that we can address your concern and get specifics to support you in your concern.
So
we give them opportunity
Okay.
to divulge their identity.
Sure. So it sounds like we are promoting, an opportunity to hear from you if you have what you might consider an adverse response to a question on a survey that you don't necessarily feel you want to check the box on, but you'd rather talk to Dr. Robinson or someone on the staff or team, et cetera. It is promoted that that opportunity is available.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we even on our staff, when we opened our staff transfer, we started stay interviews like, hey, if you're not happy with where your current building is and you would like to talk to me, we want to make sure you stay and we retain your services in the district. So please mark this and we'll reach out to you and set up a time for me to come visit, or you can come visit me.
Cool beans.
Do you have any kind of grow your own program that just wasn't listed on here?
Yeah, we have a Grow Your Own program. DESE did not fund Grow Your Own program this year. Our courses and our pathways still remain. So actually, we still funded those programs, so it's still going on as we try to develop our teachers
Right,
and
that's
work
what I
with
was
the
asking.
work with the foundation to provide them with some support as well.
Is there anything different about the interview process for those kind of candidates? I just didn't know if maybe
No.
like if you didn't take on an alum, they got a personal message that was like, hey, we really appreciate your dedication to our community, but time's not right, or, something like that.
I think, too, to that point, this is only year 3 of our Grow Your Own, is that correct? Or is it year 4?
Because I have one
Going
who's
into
doing
year
their
4.
student teaching now,
Okay, so that's where we are
who's
with that.
coming, well, not here, but she says, I'm going to work for you guys.
Yeah.
She said,
So if that helps clarify that a little
Yeah.
bit.
For the sub-certifications on here, is that just how many we've added? We've added 21 certified subs.
20 for the certified, classified.
certifications.
Yeah,
Yes.
where the, in the box.
Well, 21, it says 21 is exited, 31 paraprofessionals. It says 21 have exited. Is that the one you're talking about, the number 21?
No, up at the top, the boxes that says candidate interview.
Oh,
228.
21 sub-certifications. Yes, that's 21 sub added. Yes.
Okay, that's it, so it was added.
Yep.
Okay. And my other question, do we have, like a sub-fill rate that we could share, just what percentage we have filled every day?
We do. I don't have that information currently with me. But we'd like it to be a lot better.
Uh-huh.
Am I hearing you say we do want more subs?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Always.
Ms. Rito was interviewing all day today.
Okay.
Subs, so, the last 2 days, so. We have currently, 118 active subs working in the district. So
Could you
those
repeat
people-
that?
118 active subs, so we need that pool to be 200 or more.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the approval of the press release related to the 4-day school week. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the press release related to the 4-day school week.
I'll second. Dr. Grant.
All right, thank you, President Dixon. I want to take just a moment to share some information with all of you. The Teacher Recruitment and Retention Playbook found on DESE's website describes the nation is facing a shortage of classroom teachers, and many teachers are leaving their classrooms and fewer candidates are entering the teacher pipeline. This research shows that the #1 factor that influences a child's education is the classroom teacher. During the 24-25 school year, there were 4,256 new teachers across the state of Missouri. If you look at that group of new teachers, 42% were certified and attended an educator preparation program in the state of Missouri from one of our colleges or universities. 11% were certified from an out-of-state institution, so maybe they came from KU. 10%, almost 11%, went through an alternative certification program, ABCTE or Teach for Tomorrow, which is a program which they can achieve certification but is not a part of the college or university. 22.3% only had a substitute certificate, which is a minimum of 36 college credit hours, or they can complete a 20-hour substitute teacher training program. And 10% had no certification whatsoever. How many certified teachers does the ISD have? 1,092 classroom teachers. 98% are fully certified. 2% are in the process of finalizing the certification or waiting on final approval from DESE. What about teacher retention in Missouri? After the first 2 years of teaching, only 86% of teachers remain in the profession. And after 5 years, only 66% of teachers remain in the profession. Since the adoption of the 4-day instructional week, our retention rate has continued to increase. And this past year, we were at approximately 90% retention rate. The average years of experience of new teachers in the ISD prior to the 4-day was 4.4 years of experience. And this year's average years of teaching experience for teachers joining the Independence School District this year, 8.5 years of experience. Now let's talk a little bit about academic achievement. Missouri evaluates all districts through the Missouri School Improvement Program, MSIP 6, and the annual performance report. MSIP 6 provides a comprehensive view of district effectiveness, looking at academic achievement, attendance, graduation rates, and many other things. Using one data point without the full MSIP 6 context misrepresents progress. ISD chooses to hold itself to the same rigorous standards as the state or the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. ISD's APR results have had continuous improvement. In 2022, we were at 70.1%. 2023, we were at 76.4%. And this past year, we were at 80%. And we just received notification that we will be receiving our APR here in the very near future, and I believe it'll be released to the public on November 6th. So it will be coming up. We're pretty excited about that. ISD was the only district in the Kansas City metro area rated on target or exceeding growth in every grade in every subject in 2023 and 2024. This is a huge shout out to our teachers and our staff. I do want to share just a tidbit of other information regarding our 12 surrounding school districts that surround us related to their growth ratings. 5 of those districts had 5 or more subject areas or scores where students made less growth than expected and were rated below expectation by the state. 6 had 4 areas that were below expectation, and 1 had 3 areas. Now let's understand academic achievement. We look at status and we look at growth. Let's talk about status, or MPI, or index scores. This measures a level of proficiency for a student at one point in time. It's a snapshot of performance. In the spring when we take the MAP test, 1 day or 2 days, depending upon how long the test is, right? Out of 155 days. Growth cannot be compared because you have a 3rd grade student taking their very first MAP test. They will receive a status score. You don't have anything to compare that to the next year out of that 3rd grade because it's a brand new group of students taking that same 3rd grade test. You cannot compare apples to apples. Now let's talk academic growth. I'm sorry, you cannot compare, you're comparing apples and oranges. Eric, I saw you. You're like, wait a minute, you said that wrong. Academic growth. This measures how much progress students make from year to year compared to their peers across the state. Growth shows whether instruction is accelerating learning regardless of a student's starting point. We close the achievement gap. Growth data offers the truest reflection of learning over time. Those same 3rd grade students that started here and took the math test in the MAP will now take the 4th grade math test. That is how growth is measured by the state of Missouri. Are we closing the gap? We are moving kids, the results of their academic achievement over time. That's what growth is about, and that's what academic achievement is about. The ISD has shown improved APR scores, consistent academic growth, and stronger teacher retention since implementing the 4-day week. Early results indicate a positive trajectory for students' learning and educator stability, with ongoing evaluation to continue to monitor our progress. ISD is committed to transparent communication and continuous improvement aligned through MSIP 6. We actually will get ready to submit our 2nd round, or what we jokingly like to say MSIP 6 2.0, will be submitted in December for evaluation. The ISD Board of Education plans to issue a factual release. It is for these reasons that we are asking the Independence Board of Education to support our press release.
Any discussion?
I had a comment. 4-day school week has been an extremely complex issue since the board first heard the idea from then Superintendent Dale Hurl in 2022. I know there are some that would disagree, but I truly felt that the board tried to explore the benefits and drawbacks of this calendar method before we voted to implement in the ISD for the 2023-2024 school year. I know I was not alone in reading peer-reviewed research, national studies, and analysis by top researchers and institutes like MIT Press, Education Week, Missouri State University, and others, as well as communicating with other districts using the format across the United States. Our board attended presentations by expert John Turner, as well as visiting other districts who are using 4-day. The district held a public forum for the community to weigh in and provided surveys to students, staff, and parents for their input. Each of us personally received hundreds of emails from the community regarding opinions on the change as well. Based on the information we obtained at that time, I supported the change to 4-day when the board voted December of 2022. And Independence is not alone. As of August 2025, more than 2,100 public schools in 26 states have switched to 4-day school week. Now let me be clear. From the start, my highest priority was that 4-day would be a benefit for our students academically, because at the end of the day, that is the heart of our mission, which states, by providing quality education, the Independence School District will ensure that each learner will achieve the skills and self-confidence to be successful in an ever-changing world. As we are in the 3rd year of implementation, we are seeing several positive indicators for this calendar method. As Dr. Grant has shared, applications are up, years of experience for new hires is up, retention is up, and student performance is up. Is 4-day perfect? Absolutely not. There are challenges: childcare for working parents, fatigue for students, food insecurities, to name a few. We must, as a district, continue to assess and make adjustments no matter how many days of school there are in a week. I was pleased that the board listened to patron concerns and voted to initiate a compromise of AMI after such a bad winter last year. I'm glad that Learning League, which provides additional education supports and includes both transportation and meal service, was expanded when the elementary age enrichment offerings were not successful. Our snack backpack efforts to address food insecurities are helping families as well. But we must continue to look for ways to ensure each learner succeeds, as our mission states, regardless of the number of days a week we offer school. I've communicated with dozens of citizens, teachers, and students about whether they like a 4-day, and I'm hearing a lot of positive reactions. I saw an informal poll on Facebook on a community page with a little over 100 participants that indicated about 78% in favor of 4-day. Combined with the positive movements in teacher hires, retention, and experience, as well as student performance, I believe the 4-day is the best solution for Independence at this time. Consequently, I will be voting yes for the ISD 4-day press release, and personally, I will be supporting a yes vote at the ballot on 11/4.
Thank you, Director Pierce. I'd like to share a bit as well. As you can recall, when we entertained this publicly and had the vote, I was the lone dissenter. I voted no because I strongly felt, and still compellingly feel today, that there could have been broader and stronger efforts to share our intentions with this community. And that's just what I believe. Now that we're here, I have heard wonderful positive things about the 4-day school week. I do hear adverse things as well. And like Director Pierce said, nothing's perfect. We recognize that. I do believe, though, that this community is resilient, and it's easy for us to assume it's all well and good because, there's not a whole bunch of complaints, but people naturally conform. They do that. This is the beauty and humanity. And I'm very sensitive to making such a huge change to person's lives without hearing a fully informed response from them. However, I believe in local control wholeheartedly. And I believe that this board should be unified in its approach in making the best efforts for this community. And while I did vote no, I will be supporting this press release. I'm not prepared to say what my vote will be on that day, but I am prepared to support this press release because I believe it's important and it's prudent for us to be unified in this approach. So I will be supporting this press release.
This is probably the most heated debate I have with myself all the time. And I was not on the board when the decision was made, and it probably was half my motivation for running. I did not feel like I was heard, and I did not feel that there was enough engagement as a parent. And as an educator, I did not support the decision. I have a lot of issues with some of the data because there's only 1 year in the data that the 4-day week is implemented. We don't have data from year 2, and we're starting year 3. I feel like 3 years, after 3 years, would be a much better point for us to evaluate. So it's unfortunate that we have not, in my thoughts, had a proper amount of time to really evaluate its effectiveness. But I don't like that we're putting data in a release that is not part of our 4-day experience. I also think as we review our incident data that we do have, it's important to recognize that the composite score provides the broad summary of our performance. And when we meet expectations on several compliance and success-ready areas that are part of that, the subject level data reveals a more concerning picture. So in some core academic areas, particularly math and English, ELA, our district continues to struggle. And I know in the data we looked at prior to adopting the 4-day week, the statement was always made that there wasn't significant drop in student achievement. Where I really struggle with that is, but it's not showing improvement. And I don't think we are in a place as a district to say, oh, we're adopting this because we're good with the status quo and we need improvement. And when you look at those details, for example, in ELA, is specifically at below basic, our percentage of students has increased from 23.8% to 25.2%, from 22-23 to 23-24. So from the year before we did the 4-day to the 4-day. So the academic achievement ELA increased as far as below basic, which is also 8.6% lower than our state average. We have some other indicators in math that are similar, but I'm really concerned with, we have 40% of our students that are scoring below basic in math. When we look at that as educators, we want to look at how we can move that bar, how we can move those students from below basic to basic or basic to proficient, so we can move them one more level up. And I just think that that's really concerning, the percentage we have at those levels, and think that that gives an outlook of, are we going to be able to make the progress that we need in especially those core areas? That should be a priority. I think also that there are many factors that contribute to student success, and it's really difficult to put that on the 4-day when we only have 1 year data on it. I also think that we have an excellent staff that's done some really hard work to build our students back up from COVID. And so I think the progress that we made those first couple years before the 4-day is exactly indicative of what they are doing. I just hesitate to say that this is what's best.
Excuse me. I have also gone back and forth on this. In my own family, I have recently had some personal life changes, and which means that I am now directly affected by what do my kids do on Mondays because I have a new full-time job, which is fantastic and wonderful and all of the good things. And it's very flexible and very understanding and all of those other wonderful things, and I still struggle. And this was not something that, I'm not one of those people where it has to happen to me to matter to me, but I now have a front row seat to what I worried about with other families. I am experiencing that, and it's hard. It is so hard. I truly value what some of our teachers and how they feel about it. I do think that we need more data. The one that impresses me the most is the years of experience, because I think that that is the only thing that can really tell us what kind of educators are coming in. Because even if we might be losing some of our folks who have been around a long time, we're still bringing in folks with a lot of experience to make up for that experience that we're losing as they retire or move on. But one of the things that I do have concerns about in the data is the retention rate. Just because this last year, I know that we offered the sick day buyout, which I know anecdotally, I have many friends who decided to stick around for another year because it was a nice paycheck that they were now going to get their sick days paid for, which is wonderful, and we should do that. But I think next year we'll adjust for that, and so our retention rate won't be quite as high. And so I'll be interested in seeing that. I am very disappointed in our Missouri legislature for forcing this vote on us. They very clearly made some rules that seem to only include independents and a couple of others that were caught in the net as well. But I also think that a vote or a survey is something that we should have done as a school district before this was implemented. I know I personally did one through the page that I had created, and the feedback that I got, which I shared with the board at that time, people didn't want it. And so we did it, and it's hard for me to support something that says, yes, you should vote yes, when I'm not even sure how I feel about it. I'm not going to advocate for or against. I'll be like Anthony, I probably won't share my own personal vote because I see both sides. And so I think it's important that we continue, no matter what is decided, whether it's a yes, no, or a no vote, we continue to build and make ISD the place that people want to go to, whether we have the 4-day week or not. This should be our destination school district. Let's make it, let's reward our teachers, let's make sure that they, and all of our staff, let's make sure that they know that they are the most important people, because we say it all the time up here. That's why we went to the 4-day school week, is that we know that the most important thing to a child's education is who is in the classroom with them, who is in the front office with them, who is serving them lunch every day. We want the very best people in those positions. And whether or not we have this, we got to do more. Even if we approve this and we keep the 4-day school week, we got to do more for our staff. We got to keep going. I wrote an editorial about how my feelings back then, I felt that the 4-day school week was a shiny wrapping paper on an empty box. And I'm going to implore our board, let's fill that box. Let's fill it.
And that's where the conversations we had back then, you know, I know that I have double the plan time that my colleagues that I used to work with do here. So there are lots of things that we can do to relieve and help that mental health of our staff. So that should always be the forefront of our discussions. And I wish we had more of an evaluation plan of let's look at this year and see what improvements do we need to make, no matter which way we go. And I mean, I asked for this HR report for a reason, and why I asked for the sub-fill rate. Because teachers get emails every day about covering during their plan. And if they are working a long day and they have one plan period and they're asked to work during that one plan, when are they planning and grading? And the plan period's never long enough, but it's absolutely crazy that they're getting a 20-minute lunch as their break in the day with, you know, and they're the adult in the classroom full of kids. So, I mean, there's so many aspects that we need to attack that could improve the situation for our staff.
As a parent in the district with children, I can say what I love to hear my children's teachers say is they love their job. They love seeing little people grow into leaders and adults and service providers. It doesn't resonate as well when I hear people say I'm here because of the 4-day school week. I'm happy that they're here, but what makes me feel complete and whole is that they are here because they care about kids in that classroom. And I'm only saying this because of the subject matter, period. That's it, because we're talking about this. So that's just my experience as a parent, and I have not heard any of our teachers necessarily say those things. It's really on the outside, you know, people who want to come or whatever. It's kind of like, hey, I get that that's attractive, but we want the best people in those rooms with our kids because it really matters. That's where the magic happens, and we do want rested, equipped, competent teachers in those rooms. And if the 4-day school week is truly a method that affords us that opportunity, then great, fantastic. We also just should have more discussions about how we can help fill the gap. Because in some research that other people have provided to me, is that 80% of the working parents in our community physically leave the community to go to work. And that's like, whoa, you know, think about the rationales that they have to go through to make their families work, the people that they have to put their kids entrusted with because they can't afford X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, whatever. We may not hear this at the door like nonstop, but it's a reality. And so that's why this is just so challenging for me. But again, I want to reiterate the importance of this board being unified. We passed this. I support local control, and there's a comment, a yes vote will ensure that ISD maintains its ability to govern as a duly elected presiding body, and that is what made my decision to support this.
Dr. Grant, do you have anything you want to add before we?
I do just want to clarify, I know the comment was made about are we moving kids from levels, and it's below basic, proficient, and advanced. And I would say that directly speaks to the growth data that we shared. We are moving kids in relation to that. The other piece too that I will make mention of in the state of Missouri, Senate Bill 68, when you talk about proficiency levels, they're actually adding a 5th proficiency level within the scoring metric that will be grade level. Because within the basic model as well, kids can be on grade level and still score basic. So they are adding that level in there as well. So I'm anxious to see what that brings to the table. So I just wanted to clarify that, so I appreciate that.
I wanted to make a quick comment. I appreciate all of the thoughtfulness that everyone put into their comments here tonight. I know we've received emails about this very thing and the press release when the agenda came out. I appreciate the statistics that were put in here. It's not just a general press release. I do appreciate that. I too wish that we had more time to develop more statistics before we were being forced to vote on this. And I go back to what Vice President Mondane said. One big reason I'm supporting this is because of the issue of the local control. I've been on this board for a while, and when I first got on back in 2010, Anne Franklin, who I greatly respect, has talked about local control forever. And I just see this as kind of whittling away, inch by inch, that for us.
And I just want to talk about the local control just a little bit. Thank you for that, Director Esri. My concern is that our board had an opportunity to do more engagement pieces, to survey our families and our staff, and that didn't happen at the time. And so that was the reason why this exists is because people felt unheard. And so I do think it's important, and which is why I am uncomfortable, I'm squeaking a lot, which is why I am uncomfortable voting in support of this, because I do think that folks should be allowed to vote. I hate how this turned out, and I hate how we are clearly, it is taking away local control, and I don't believe all of that, but I do think it's important that people have a say. I do have one question. Why am I so loud? What's happening? Feedback. Do we know approximately how many of our ISD teachers and staff actually live within district and would be able to vote on this? Do we have that stat?
I do not have that stat.
Any ballpark?
Oh, there we go.
54.
Oh, it's only 54% would be able to vote.
There
on
you go.
this. That's unfortunate.
Thank you, Mr. Latham.
I also think it's important, this was the number one topic that families wanted to talk to me about when I was knocking on doors. So, that was not very long ago, and I just really want to support that they have their voice.
And I think at this point, really, I was one that said we should do more surveys, absolutely. And honestly, this is probably the best survey we can get. I'm just, hey, this is the best. I can't wait to see what this community wants. And when we decide, let's move on and support the decision of the community. That's the best part of this job. It makes it easy. So, yeah.
I would like to say something. So we're not ready to vote yet, but I want to say that a big shout out to our teachers and administrators who have attacked this 4-day week after the board voted that to be so. I think, I've told so many people this, I know teachers in outlying districts work very hard, but they don't work as hard as ISD teachers. There is nobody that works harder than ISD teachers and deserves more. And one of the things that's come out of this, I think, is that of the many teachers I've talked to, and I've talked to some that weren't in favor of it, but they feel better about themselves mentally, that they have more time to do things. Now that may not be everybody, but I think when teachers feel better, they'll teach better. And that's one of the things we want to do, is we want continuous student academic achievement. And obviously, with the success that this has had, and now with new APR coming out soon, which sounds positive, even though we don't know what it is yet. Dr. Grant does maybe, but we don't.
I wish I did.
No, you don't either,
No,
okay?
I wish I did.
But I am so proud of our district, and yeah, it's not a perfect world when you make a big change, but one neat thing about ISD is we've done things in the last 20 years that no other district has done. We've been on the leading edge of a lot of things, and we are now, and like Director Mondane says, this is going to be the biggest survey, is this election. And I am definitely in favor of this release, this press release, and I'll be voting yes. And that comes from a guy that I went to school with a 5-day week. My parents did, my grandparents, my great-grandparents did. And I can tell you a lot of people I've talked to in this district that do not have children or grandchildren in the district are concerned about, we always did it that way. And there's businesses, major businesses now, that are going to be starting 4-day weeks for their employees. So I don't think it's just schools. It's a lot of different businesses and a lot of different institutions in America that may be changing. May even be colleges changing someday on this. But I want to say a big thank you to all the administrators and teachers once again from me, because I'm proud of what you've done. And we've taken a risk of the 4-day week. I think it's worked well, although there are things that need to be tweaked. And I think knowing ISD leadership, we'll continue to look at those and see if there's anything there that people are upset about and concerned about what to do with my kid, since everybody's working on the Monday, that we'll continue to work on that and make that Monday even better for those kids and those families. Thanks.
For the sake of time, I'm just going to say that my comments mirror Denise's most closely. So if you remember what she said, I would probably say this exact same thing. I think we're ready for a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The motion carries. Next item is to accept quote from Central States Bus Sales for the purchase of 6 77-passenger propane-powered school buses. I'll accept a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
And I'm going to assume this is Dr. Stone.
Thank you. We're excited to partner again with the Leo Academy out of Wisconsin and utilize a grant to help offset the cost of propane fuel buses. Excuse me. We would ask this evening that the Board of Education approve the purchase of 6 77-passenger Bluebird conventional school buses at $183,440 each for a total of $1,100,640. The pricing for these vehicles has been competitively bid through the NJPA Sourcewell contract. However, I've got a couple of notes I would like to point out. First of all, with this acceptance of this grant from Leo, we're going to save $332,535 or $55,422.50 per bus. That's significant. Interesting tidbit here, with the Leo grant being applied tonight to the bus purchases, we'll have now received over $1.6 million from the Leo Academy to help us purchase propane buses in the ISD. We're proud of that. This order of 6 will take us up to 58 propane buses in our fleet of 130. And the Leo grant has helped us purchase 46 of the 58 propane buses in our fleet. A board member, I think it asked Dr. Grant, she shared with me about what is our goal. I don't know if we really set a goal, truthfully, but I would say, me personally, I'd like to see about 80% of our fleet be propane and keep 20% diesel. So if we got to take longer trips, we can do that. So.
Oh, we're, sorry, go ahead.
No,
I'll ask you.
That's okay, sir. Go ahead. I'm open up for any questions.
Okay, I apologize for interrupting you there. About what percentage are we, if you haven't said that already? I didn't hear that.
We're 59 of 130, so we're approaching half.
We'll be approving propane buses a lot more. Okay.
Any other questions? Happy to.
And I'm sorry, it's unclear to me, even from the bid sheet, but is the $332,000 grant included in that $1 million?
No, great question, Wendy. It's not, and that process, I'm glad you brought that up. So we don't receive that grant until we do our obligations on the grant, which is we've got to get rid of an old diesel bus and knock a hole through the engine, and then once we've done that, we get our check back.
Okay, so we're approving the 1.1
Yes.
million, and
Correct.
then hope we'll get the 325
Yep.
later.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next item is the approval to accept bid and contract for a construction manager at risk for Fairmount Elementary School comprehensive renovations. Accept a motion, or entertain a motion.
So moved?
Second. Dr. Stout.
Again, thank you. This evening, we would ask that the Board of Education accept the bid and contract for CMAR, or Construction Manager at Risk, for Newkirk and Novak. This would include the following: to accept the pre-construction service bid of $20,000. And this is for all of the work that is done from now until the bond vote in April. There's a lot of work that's going to take place from now until the vote occurs in April, and this $20,000 will cover all of those expenses. Secondly, to accept the general conditions bid of $1,580,824. This is for people hired to do the work, the job trailer, all the permits, safety inspections and protocols, etc. And then finally, the project management fee of 2.35%, work after the bond for the construction manager at-risk contract with Newkirk Novak Construction Partners for the Fairmount Elementary School comprehensive renovations. So a little bit about CMAR at risk. The guaranteed maximum price, and that's kind of what CMAR at risk is all about, will be set once all of the architect drawings are completed. And we anticipate to have these back by the end of November, mid-December at the latest. Then the CMAR puts out the bids based on the drawings and information they have. And once they get the bids back, they calculate that information plus their 2.35% that I just mentioned, their management fee, and this becomes the guaranteed maximum price. And then at that point in time, we come back to the Board of Education for your approval. So you guys, everybody knows clearly, transparently, what that is going to be. So the term CMAR at risk means that they're going to take on all the risk, which I like, and I know Mr. McGee likes. They stay within that guaranteed maximum price, and they make sure that timelines are followed and the schedule is met. And I will assure you that the contract that's presented has been reviewed by the architects and Mr. McGee.
You knew I was gonna ask that question.
And I'll be happy to answer any questions, and if I can, I'm sure Mr. McGee can. He's back there smiling. He's just ready to get up here.
Can you talk about what other projects in the last decade or so where we've used a CMAR and when we feel like that's appropriate and when it's not?
Great question. I think most recently with Fairmount, the recent work we did with Fairmount, I know that we used it with Castle Park. It was with another firm besides this one, and I worked closely with them at that time. But I think anytime you're dealing with a lot of moving parts, for lack of a better term, it's nice to have somebody that's going to take on all that, the work, the bidding out, the receiving of timelines, the receiving of information, and to be able to disseminate that and bring that back to us. That's a nice assurance. I think also Denise, real quickly, is the auditorium. We're all very proud of the auditorium at Danville High School. We use this outfit as well in that process.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries.
President Dixon is, ouch, a respectful response. That's a lot of money, I'm just joking.
Approval for, next item is the approval of service provider agreement for Head Start and Early Head Start.
Yes.
We need a motion.
So moved.
Seconded?
Okay.
All right. You may recall we did this last year at this time. Actually, I think it was November because Mark came back to us and asked if we would approve that. So with that agreement and then looking at the budget as well as the Head Start standards bylaws, if we would be able to approve those. There are no changes, substantive changes to the bylaws. They changed Policy Council to Family Action Council, so that was a name change there. And then throughout the bylaws, they changed the, instead of having a specific director named, they Head Start director, so it's uniform, so we don't have to go back and change that. Increase to the budget for this grantee year was up just a bit, but not extensively. Last year we were at $3,619,625. This year we're looking at $3,659,348 at the federal level, and then at the state level it's exactly the same as it was before. So we just utilized what we used last year, and then we moved it on over for your approval.
Any discussion?
This is one of the committees that I am a part of, and I just wanted to give a shout out to our Head Start and Early Education Director and all of the staff, and also the Family Action, and I'm going to mess up the name, Family Action Council, there we go, Great group of parents who are highly involved and want to learn more and be great advocates for their families. And it's a very cool thing that this is a required thing because it promotes community engagement and all of the things that I believe very strongly about. So it's wonderful to see, even for our littlest learners.
Thank you for your time on that committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion carries. I will entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I move to adjourn to closed session pursuant to Missouri State Statute for Personnel Issues 610.021 subparagraph 3 and Legal Matters 610.021 subparagraph 1.
Second.
Roll call. Yes.
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 We're adjourned.